Hello, everyone. This is the Parks Academy, where we discuss and celebrate all things theme parks related. We focus mainly on Disney parks and resorts in both Anaheim and Orlando. My name is Paige.
My name is Steven.
And today we will be discussing mistakes that we've made in Disney.
It's hard to believe that pros like us have ever made mistakes in a Disney park, but
yeah,
we have. And they've straight up been doozies. So they have been. I mean, it's no joke. Okay, so I sent you over the list that we had agreed upon. You just want to go in that order? Is that good for you?
Sure, that's fine.
All right. Why don't you just read it off?
Well, if I kick off with the first one, it's kind of throwing you under the bus a little bit.
It's fine.
Okay.
That's funny because the bus was involved.
Haha, that's funny.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, the first mistake that we have definitely made is when we were getting to the end of the evening on our Hollywood Studios day, instead of staying for the nighttime spectacular that was a Star Wars show on the Grauman's Chinese Theater in Hollywood Studios, we were like, let's see if we can catch a bus over to Magic Kingdom in time for the fireworks.
Yeah,
terrible,
the reason for that is we had a
idea.
park hopper that day, and during this particular trip, we did not plan on going to Magic Kingdom for this trip. So we were like, let's just go, let's head over there. Well, guess what, folks?
We waited for the bus.
I'm going to say 45 minutes.
At least 45 minutes, because we did not make it in time for the fireworks, except for the very, very end of the fireworks.
Yeah, because once during certain nighttime shows start after the park is already closed.
Correct.
So this particular one in Hollywood Studios did start after the park closed. So we could not get back in. Mm-hmm. And the thing where everyone's waiting for something, and for whatever reason, everyone's just kind of like throwing their head over their shoulders, looking every which direction to try to spot what they're looking for. Mm-hmm. This was this time's like eternity, or infinity rather. I don't know. Because everyone had their phones out looking at schedules and routes, and there was a lot of huffing and puffing, and we were the first ones in line for the bus. Mm-hmm. And the line got insane behind us,
and the buses kept coming and coming and coming.
But not for Magic Kingdom, though.
We're going to Magic Kingdom.
So the lesson I learned is, if you want to, there is no, unless you, I'm just going to say, there is no, let's just go do this really quick in Disney.
Right.
Typically. I mean, if you're so lucky and you can jump on something really fast, or say, we are in Tomorrowland and the fireworks show's coming or happening over on Main Street. Like, why don't we just go run over there really quick?
Right.
You can do that, but there is no, why don't we just hop over to this park with 10 minutes to spare and go do this? Because you are at the mercy of transportation. Mm-hmm. And even if you have your own car, you are at the mercy of getting out of the parking lot, getting into the next parking lot, traffic, the whole catastrophe.
Yep.
So that is a mistake that we certainly made.
Yep.
And it is my fault, because I don't know why I wanted to leave a Star Wars set thing, but at the time I was like, let's just bail.
I don't know, but part of that reasoning too, I think, was the Run Disney Day, which we will come back to.
Yeah, it was, huh?
In the next few examples. So let's move on to the second mistake that we have made in Disney parks, and that is doing 4 parks on 4 consecutive days. Yeah.
That's a lot to ask of you. So, I mean, it's no question that it's exhausting to be in a theme park. And when you go hard, like we do, when you go from gates opening or rope drop rather, to last call, it really, really, really will exhaust you, and your feet hurt and you're just tired. And then, it's kind of like that physical hangover the next day when you get out of your bed and your feet still kind of hurt a little bit, but you feel rejuvenated, but you also have like this lingering pain in your feet and your legs and your back maybe.
Right. And you slept really well because you were so tired, but you have like only a little bit of energy that even a coffee on Main Street can't fix.
Yeah, exactly. And like you want to get in every minute you can, but you're still kind of I don't know. For me anyway, like it's difficult when I'm of two minds. Like my mind is telling me I really want to get there for rope drop because I want to be a part of everything going on
Right.
and stay till it closes. And then my body's like, hey, bud, can we maybe, not do that today?
Let's try a different pace.
Yeah, let's really slow it down. So
Right.
I mean, what's our alternative to that?
Well, so we have done a couple different things. We've either said, let's do 3 days of parks, and one day we hop from one park to another. Or we obviously use you a park hopper for the whole trip. You're not just buying a park hopper for one day, right?
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that.
Right. So you're buying the park hopper for the whole trip. So maybe you spend the mornings in Magic Kingdom when it's less crowded and then hop over to the parks that open a little later, like Epcot, and spend the evening somewhere like that. Yeah. Or you break up your trip with an off day in the middle.
The off day is my preferred.
And that's what we've done the last few times because we found that works for us. Where we'll usually do a hangout at the hotel and swim and then go to Disney Springs or just kind of relax. One time we did our off day in the middle and then we spontaneously bought tickets to Universal Studios.
We didn't just get tickets. We got
5
tickets.
days.
We got tickets and we got like the best of the best front of the line access stuff. Like we went hog wild on that.
We were total crazy pants and said we're going to do an off day in the middle so we don't get exhausted. And on our off day, we decided to go to a 5th theme park. Do not follow our lead. That was a mistake.
I was wearing my rainbow flip-flops that day because I didn't think we were doing anything exciting. And so I was rocking flip-flops an entire day in
and I was in
Universal
a dress.
Studios. Yeah.
Yep. Fun times.
It was actually very, very fun.
It was very fun. But here's what I will say about the 4 parks in 4 days or the terrible example of 5 parks in 5 days. The last day we did Magic Kingdom because that is my least favorite park and there's the most to do there. So I think that's why we did that one on our last day. And about halfway through the day, we were both so grumpy that we were just done.
Yeah.
We were just done with the park. We were done with being in Disney. We were done with the screaming children and the parents yelling at their kids.
I was ready to start pushing kids over.
We were
and the
just
thing about
done.
it is the last thing we rode that day was Small World.
Yeah.
So I actually have a very specific memory of sprinting out of the park. I don't remember why. I think it was because the fireworks show was starting and I just wanted out.
We actually split up.
We did, yeah.
Like
you ran one way and I ran another way, and I was sprinting. Don't run to the parks. It's not in the rule book.
Preferable.
But yeah, I sprinted out of there because I was like, screw this, I want out.
And I was going through the trick way of going through all the stores down Main Street.
She was like knocking over coat racks and display cases. And
I was not
flailing, but
we definitely were like, let's just meet at the bus. We just need a minute to get out of this park and this craziness. So be mindful of that.
Alternatively, if you're doing I think 4 days in the parks is really fun. 1 day for each park if you so choose. But I think 2 days, a break, and then 2 days is a great way to do it.
I think so too. And I think especially if you have kids, and you have to pace yourself. You really do. When you're adults, you can kind of go at a different pace or you're not trying to cram in as many rides or experiences maybe, but definitely consider taking a break day in the middle. Okay, the next one. Going to a park after a Run Disney event.
And to be more specific, I would say half marathon and over.
Yeah, I did a half marathon. Had to be up and at the Run Disney event at 3 a.m., I think.
Yeah.
In the corral. Ran the event. And then went back and didn't even shower. Just changed my clothes. And then we went to Hollywood Studios all day. And then when Hollywood Studios closed,
we went to Magic Kingdom.
We went to Magic Kingdom.
Yep. Watched fireworks and went on Space Mountain.
I legitimately could not walk. And when I say I legitimately could not walk, I mean I'm laying on the bench on the train station on Main Street.
Almost in tears. And I'm like,
I cannot move.
Yeah.
We're going to have to get a wheelchair tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's not an exaggeration.
Yeah. I mean, if you run a 5K or something, you can probably do the parks for the rest of the time. But Yeah, if you're if you're really putting in those miles, it's gonna be tough on your body. Now, I am not a runner, so I did
Steven
not
stood at
run
the
it.
finish line and held a banana.
Yeah, I saw some things, man. It's funny. It's super funny watching people go through the finish line at Run Disney.
Bless.
Yeah, I've seen some things.
We'll talk about it, Run Disney on another episode.
Yeah,
But
but yeah, just take a day off, man. Go to the pool, sit in the hot tub, take an ice bath or something in your hotel, or have a nice
yes,
dinner to treat yourself. But maybe the other thing too is this wasn't like our third or fourth day in the park.
this was day one.
This was day one. So it was like we had that Disney itch, and even you did too. Like you
Right.
really wanted to get in there and,
Well,
and
we got there
tear
the
it
day
up.
before. We did our Jock Lindsay's Hanger Bar the night before. I took it pretty easy on food and drinks.
We did the whole like we went to the World of Sports and
Yes.
did all that stuff, the
And
registration and
right.
stuff.
We went shopping in the expo and we did all the things and relaxed and went to bed on the earlier side because I had to be up so early. But we just pushed it way too much after the
Yeah.
Run Disney event. So
Yep. And then the rest of the trip, you were actually fairly miserable too.
I was.
You had like KT tape all over your legs, and
my
you were just like
knees-
hating life.
Yeah. And guys, I'm an athlete. I mean, I say that loosely now because I've had a child and I haven't played sports competitively in a while, but this was something I knew I could do and I trained really hard for it. It's not like I just said, "Let me give this half marathon a try" and didn't prep. Like I had trained for a year
Yeah,
for
yeah, you were
this.
going after it.
and I felt miserable trying to walk around a theme park. I mean, sometimes it hurts to walk around a theme park, just like normal everyday humans.
Right.
But doing that after running a half marathon,
It's no good.
well, and we pushed it and we did 4 parks in 4 days. So these are mistakes, folks. This is why we're telling you.
Yeah, that wasn't our four parks in 4 days trip though.
Well, that was a different trip, but we
Yeah.
did 4 parks in
Mhm.
4 days.
All right, hit
That
me with
one.
the next one.
All right, next one. Not having dinner reservations.
This one bites when you are hungry and you really want to do something. So a couple of years ago, it was kind of a different story because you could do mobile orders and be pretty much good to go. But right now, it's sort of universally difficult to get reservations anywhere. And also, if you aren't, I don't really know how much. Whenever you're listening to this, I don't know really how it's going to be, but during a lot of the changes in Disney World, especially, even like mobile ordering, like you would have to order your lunch in the morning and then go pick it up at lunchtime. So plan ahead on that. We've talked about planning ahead a lot, but you do not. We've been stuck before with no dinner reservations and just kind of walking around like that John Travolta gif and being like, "What the heck are we gonna do?"
Well, and part of the thing too is we typically will do QSR for lunch and
Mhm.
sit down for dinner. That's just something we like to do. We don't mind being on our feet and finding a quick, table or ledge to sit at for our lunch. But for dinner, we'd like to actually sit down and enjoy our time and not feel rushed or like someone is hovering for a table. And so for us to not have dinner reservations and to be sort of out of luck trying to find a place that we can go into to sit down and eat that's not just a QSR restaurant
Or like
is
a
hard.
Mickey like pretzel stand or something.
Right,
you know?
exactly. So plan ahead on that. Think about how early you can plan ahead based on your reservations and try to take advantage of having those dinner reservations ahead of time.
Yeah.
All right, the next one. And this one we haven't done it on the last few trips because, we're getting smarter as we get older.
Yeah.
But buying your souvenirs first thing in the morning or buying all your souvenirs on the first day, really.
Mhm.
But especially when you're going into the parks all day and you see that thing you want and you buy it first thing.
Yeah, let's be really really clear though. It depends on what thing. Because
That's
if
true.
you like go in and want to buy mini ears and that's what you want and you get in there, buy them and you can enjoy them for the
You
rest
wear
of the day.
them all day.
Hakuna Matata.
There you go.
But if you are like, I really, really want this special edition Force Awakens Darth Vader head from when it's like all crumbled and stuff,
Yes. then you do
you're
have
gonna
to
have
carry
a
that.
you're gonna have a bad time if you buy that early in the day.
I would even
Right?
challenge you with, you had a pretty bad time carrying your lightsaber around all day.
I did, yeah. But that was so there was kind of a there was a little bit of a caveat with that. Are you talking about my Savi's one or my Legacy one last time?
Well, both,
My
because
Savi's, yeah.
because you still had them in the morning, and then you were like, can I go find somewhere to keep this all day? Because I don't want to carry it and it keeps getting in the way and I don't want it to get broken.
Yeah, the Savi's one was way worse because I had a blade with it.
Right.
But the problem with that was I couldn't, that was sort of like a let go and let God situation because I was given, like, I
You had one
got the
option.
reservation that I got.
Right.
And, you know, this kind of goes back to reservations, but I did not make a reservation for Savi's when we went.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to just hope that I could find one.
Right.
And I got a last minute reservation for the next day.
Yep.
So yeah, I was stuck with that. And then the Legacy lightsaber was in like its big gray box, and I had that in my backpack.
Yep.
Which wasn't as inconvenient, but it was still kind of a bummer. So a couple of things you can do. I know this is back, but you can, if you get something big, you can buy it and have it delivered to your hotel room, which is very, very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And in some cases, if you're buying something and you're flying there and you just don't want to have to put it in your luggage, you can actually have it shipped back to your house.
Right.
By Disney, which is fantastic. So you don't have to, like, the point is, like, if there's something that you really want and you are staying on Disney property, we would definitely encourage you to have it delivered to your hotel room, or have it shipped to your house. But if you are, like, you know, not at a Disney hotel, and you are just kind of like hanging out for the day or whatever, like, yeah, try to buy it later if you can, because you do not want to get stuck with big souvenirs.
Right. And there have been a couple times that we've gone, I can remember in Epcot, and then we had like 3 bags that we were carrying around all day.
Yeah.
It was during the Food and Wine Festival,
Mm-hmm.
because I was carrying all these bags of like Food and Wine Festival merch. And,
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you had something in mind that you've bought that you kind of regretted because you had to carry it.
well, it was just a combination of things. So we ended up buying a reusable bag from Epcot because I was tired of carrying all of those different Disney bags with all our souvenirs in it.
Right.
So we just kept going and saying we already have a bag, and then we were just filling it up with stuff.
Yeah.
But it was because we had started out in the morning with, I bought like a shirt, and then I bought a pin, and then we bought a watch band for you.
You
and
bought,
it was just a bunch of things.
yeah, you got
combined.
a Spirit jersey, which is big and bulky.
Right. So it was the Spirit jersey that was taking up so much space. It did not fit in my lounge fly because, as Stephen has said before, they're not always the most practical unless you're not buying a bunch of big stuff in the morning. I should have bought that towards the end of the day.
Yeah,
so.
it's such a song and dance, though, because, you know, what's the rule? If you see it and you like it, get it, because it's likely they won't be there when you go back.
Like the hand soap that we got.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
That
we
was
bought that
the same day.
We
and
bought that
that's
early in the
why-
morning because...
we saw it, and then it was gone by the afternoon.
Well, what was wild about it was we saw it, and there was a ton of them, right? So, okay, we're talking about that hand soap that
Where
when
it
you
comes
push
out
it
like
down and it comes
Mickey.
out like Mickey head, right? So I saw it and I bought it. Anyways, I saw it, and there was a ton of them on display, maybe like 50 or 60. And then I went on Test Track and I came back. This was at like Mouse Connect or whatever. And I came back and there was like 5 left.
Right.
So I was like, I got to get this right now.
Yep.
Also, pro tip, those things do not last. So we took it home, and then I thought I'd be a clever boy and refill it. And there's some like Disney witchcraft in it, because when you refill it, it does not work the same. It's like
It does
special.
not
It's like
work.
special soap.
It was special soap.
Yeah, it was terrible.
All of that to not even be able to use it again.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And now
buy
you can
your
buy them
stuff.
online.
Buy your stuff at a convenient time, folks, so you don't have to carry around a bunch of souvenir bags. Okay, next one. And I stand by this.
Mhm.
Steven is like, meh, whatever.
Yeah.
We will not, if I have any say, go back to Disney in the heat of the summer.
Yeah, Disney World.
World,
Disneyland is
correct.
It's
Well, that
doable.
depends.
It's doable.
That depends.
Yeah.
California summers for me are too hot and dry.
Yeah.
But especially Disney World, I thought I was going to die.
It's not the heat, it's the humidity, as every dad in America says. Yeah, you have quite the tale of this whole situation. First of all, you were how many months pregnant?
I was in my second
6-ish?
trimester.
So 5, 6
So,
months pregnant?
Yeah,
something like
somewhere
that?
in there.
And
The worst part of it
yeah,
all. Okay, so first day we get there, we go to Disney Springs, we go to Jock Lindsay's, we hang out, we do our thing. Second day is our first day in the parks. About halfway through the day,
this was Epcot.
it was Epcot.
Yeah.
About halfway through the day, I realize I have this red rash-looking thing on my leg. So it's a little bit itchy. It feels kind of warm. I've gotten hives several times in my life. I have issues with allergens, and so that's happened to me before. So I go to the little first aid place, and they're like, oh, here's some, cortisone cream or whatever, but check with your doctor because you're pregnant, so see if you can use it. So I call my doctor, and they say, don't use it if you don't have to. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm not sure what to do here. And the lady in the first aid place says, oh, that looks like Disney rash. So Steven and I are like, what in the world is Disney rash? So I'm Googling this. We're sitting in the park. It's getting very uncomfortable at this point. My leg is starting to hurt. Like the muscles feel like they're hurting. It's not like hives that I've ever had before.
What was weird about it, if I may, was if you're eating it's not that gross, but you know your own stomach intolerance. It was like red and blotchy, but it didn't really break the skin. It looked like it was like underneath the skin.
Right.
So it wasn't like a rash where it's like on top and it's
right.
like
That's
an exterior rash. It was like
Correct.
it looked like it was gonna burst if you like poked it.
Gross. Why would you say that?
So it was really upsetting. And
So
it was like
here's the
really hot
deal.
to the touch. It was
So
rough.
here's the deal with it. I knew it wasn't hives because, like Steven said, it wasn't on the surface. It wasn't bumpy. Like, it was not raised at all. It was actually like a vascular issue. So it was like the veins underneath of my skin responding to the heat and humidity. And evidently, this is a very common thing that happens specifically in Disney because of the hot, humid weather. And so the lady in the first aid place said, yeah, if you look around, it happens with a lot of older people.
I just Google image search Disney rash and it
Gross.
is wild,
Yeah,
man. It's a trip. Definitely look it up if you want to.
No.
It's something to see.
But the lady in the first aid place was like, walk around and you'll probably see dozens of other people with Disney rash.
Yeah.
So just so you know, if you ever go into Disney in the middle of the summer and it is hot and humid and your legs start to hurt, be very careful because that was no joke. And it hurt the whole time we were there. I had to ice it every night and elevate it. And I still actually have a dent in my leg where it was that my doctor thought would go away after I had the baby. And it has not.
Yeah, just basically your run-of-the-mill inflammation of blood vessels.
Yes.
But yeah, it is something else, man. I think I found a great picture that we might use for cover art.
Disgusting.
Okay.
All of that to say, if you don't have to go to Disney in the summer, go literally any other time of year. The spring is the best time to go. Spring break is usually really crowded, but anytime, March or April, they've got the Flower and Garden Festival, which is just phenomenal. The fall is beautiful. You have Halloween or Food and Wine Festival. Christmas time is going to be even cooler, and then you have the Christmas.
But nice.
Well, but if you go early enough in the season, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, there are certain times of, the middle of the week and stuff if you have more flexibility. And then January and February is usually the least crowded, but this year
for some
been
reason
crazy busy.
50th.
So
yeah, the other thing I'm gonna just interject with, like, Disney rash is not fun. I've never had it, but I can't imagine. It sounds debilitating and terrible.
it was awful.
But the other thing too is it's just nasty hot outside, so you're gonna be like craving shade, and summertime it's busier because everyone's on break, and that's a popular time to vacation typically. So you're going to be standing in really long lines waiting for everything, and it's going to be so hot, and you're going to be soaked because of the humidity. I don't know. For me, it's definitely not as fun.
Yeah, just if you can swing it, the other times of year are just more pleasant. As long as it's not so crowded when you're there, it's just more pleasant when you're not dripping and sweating and suffering from Disney rash.
Yeah, the way I would describe it is in Florida weather, it's a less terrible option.
Yeah.
It's not much better, but it's less terrible.
There you go. We're not hating on Florida, everyone. It's just humid.
The weather is just upsetting.
Just humid.
All right, what's the last one we got?
All right, the last one, mistake that we've made, and this was when we were youngins, newly married. We didn't really pay attention to our finances as much. Not having a budget. Ouch.
Yeah, ouch indeed. Yeah, we spent a lot of money on this trip. Here's why. We were bright-eyed about the magic bands that were still new-ish.
We were so excited.
And you can hook up your credit card to them directly. And so
brilliant.
When money does not feel like it is tangible and you can just blindly spend, it's really, really easy to just swipe and not think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about it is that these weren't like, we're not looking at like $100 at a time. We're talking like $15-$20 here and there.
Right. So
and
it doesn't feel like much at a time.
Yeah. And so this was our big trip where we did 5 days in 5 parks.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were like, tickets excluded, like tickets even to Universal and stuff excluded. Everything adds up so darn fast, and it'll just drain you.
Yes.
So we made a horrible mistake of putting things on our credit card, like not our debit card, but a credit card.
Right.
And not great, Bob. Not great.
It was not great.
So
when we got home, and not only did we look at our credit card statement total, but we were just kind of like, okay.
Uh-huh.
We just really spent that much money.
Yeah. The thing is, we've talked a lot about, in the past, like budgeting, and one of our big go-tos is having gift cards. It's so much better when you have a set amount that you're willing to spend.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way, if you do want to spend something that is outside of your budget, it's more like a little treat. And then you're kind of treating it as such. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to say that stick with the budget, because we've made that mistake, and it really sucks. It's a great time, fun memory, but it really is not. It's not wise.
It is not. That's exactly the phrase I was going to say.
It's not advisable.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah. So those are, I don't know if I guess we've made other mistakes, but those are kind of the top ones.
Those were our
that we
big
could think of.
mistakes that we thought we should share with a couple little anecdotes thrown in there.
We have little mistakes like when you're in line for a ride and it splits off into 2 different lines, you get in the wrong one, and then the one next to you just like all boards and you're stuck.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Those are small little mistakes. Those are unavoidable.
Right. Yep, but these are some bigger ones that hopefully are helpful to you as you're planning your next trip, or as you're thinking about getting ready to go on your trip to Walt Disney World or Disneyland.
Yeah, so that's going to about do it for us. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. We do appreciate your support and all of your kind words and your regular listening. We do appreciate it. You can find us on Instagram at the Parks Academy. We are at theparksacademypod.com online, where we have regular blog posts. We upload all of our episodes with some extra details on them, and you can kind of get to know us there and subscribe there as well. You can also find us on Patreon at the Parks Academy Podcast. We have some bonus content out there that we would love for you to hear and to join our community. So thanks again so much for listening, and we will catch you next time.